written a lot of books. Some have been translated into Chinese. I didn't know until I got here. So you can always Google my name to see what I'm up to. I also wrote a science fiction novel. I forgot about it. I told Harmony yesterday, oh yeah, I wrote a science fiction novel too, with a physics professor. And it's a very fun book. It's I'm an Amazon Kindle author. And you might enjoy reading it because it combines science with crazy adventures as an alien and black holes and all things. And you can read the first 2 chapters for free. So you don't have to buy it. Just enjoy the first 2 chapters if you like. But that's my new Kindle book. And one of the things I'm going to talk to you about today is that my co-author and I got our book onto Kindle. And it's just sitting there. Kindle does not, Amazon doesn't do any marketing for their, unless their authors are really famous. So my co-author and I have to do the marketing, and we have to create a pitch. And we have to go around to science conventions and sell it. So we only sold about 40 copies so far. But we did get our first royalty check. Also, my name is different. We use pseudonyms because we didn't want a certain university to claim the royalties. Lots of universities will claim royalties for patents if they're developed while working there. So my co-author and I, so this is me. Don't get confused. Okay, I'm here at the invitation of the American Innovation Center, the American Institute of Taiwan, and the Fulbright program. If any of you are ever interested in applying for a Fulbright, go for it. It is a wonderful, wonderful program. This is my 3rd Fulbright, and it really changed my life. You meet wonderful people, like I'm meeting all of you here, and you learn about a new culture. Chinese is very desired by in the U.S. A lot of students at Northwestern are studying Chinese. They're studying topics in Chinese because it's the #1 language in the world. So you can go as a lecturer, researcher, and it's just a fantastic experience. And also, I'm here today to tell you more about Design for America, this innovative program from Northwestern University. My colleague Giselle had to go back to America because she has medical school interviews. But she's with us in spirit today and for all this. And we work very hard on these presentations. So you're here today, I think, because you're interested in innovation. You're interested in entrepreneurship. And improving the world. And this program is very specifically designed. It's human-centered. So it's designed to help solve problems in your local community. We say think globally, but act locally. And one of the reasons I got interested in it is, as my own country got a man to the moon, it got several people to the moon. Yet we have enormous social problems. So we can get a man to the moon, and we can't solve the basic human condition. And it's very heartbreaking, because it's not as exciting or sexy as getting a man to the moon, but our families are suffering, and our communities are suffering, and the problems sometimes seem to be getting bigger than ever. So that's why I'm so happy to have you here. We already founded a Design for America, Design for Taiwan group. I hope you start meeting in January and coming up with ideas for your social problems. It's needed everywhere. Everybody has problems, right? So I'm very happy to see you here today. Today, we are going to work on, and you might want to look here, on pitching. Does anyone know where the term pitch came from? Okay, they're going to demonstrate. Pretend that's a baseball.
Okay, I don't know how to play baseball.
Oh, shoot. Try again. Okay. Yay! Okay. Try another one for me. Okay. See how they're pitching back and forth? That's where this rule came from baseball. And it means to throw your idea. very fast, hit your target. The first time, Harmony missed her target, and he missed catching, but that's okay. That happens with pitching. When you first start, you're gonna miss your target sometimes. It's happened to me. I have 30 years experience in pitching many different things, and I can tell you I've been rejected. People say no, they say that's a crazy idea. The founder of Design for America came from Stanford Design School and wanted to start this program, and all the universities said, thank you. I think you understand pitching now, right? Pitching and catching. So if you find the right audience. The founder of Design for America came from Stanford Design School, and she pitched her idea of creating a student-based program for human-centered design, and the rest of the faculty said she was crazy. And they said, oh, that's a wild idea. But you know what? You have to persist. Persist. If you have a good idea, it will take shape. So today we're going to teach you the fundamentals of pitching. And actually, when you're telling your story, one part of it is pitching, one part is an online presence, and one part is branding and identity. So Sky and I are going to demonstrate a very fast pitch that maybe you saw in the movies. Think about what movies you might have seen. Okay, this is an example of a quick and dirty pitch. Not a nice pitch, a dirty pitch. Okay, Sky, sell me this marker.
Just write down your name on the whiteboard.
But I don't have a marker anymore.
Oh, okay. Now you should buy it from me.
Well, how much is it?
100.
200 Taiwan dollars?
It's US dollars.
US dollars? Well, I know you think we're rich in America, but no, I don't have any money. I'm an artist, and I have an audience that are waiting.
Well, you can buy it from me, or you can find others.
Oh, but I need it now.
Too bad. It's too much.
See how he tricked me? Okay, thank you, John. All right, he's not really like that. But that's from The Wolf of Wall Street, a movie with Leonardo DiCaprio. And it's a very successful pitch, but it is very quick and dirty because you create, and sometimes you create a need in your buyer, and then they think they have to buy it from you. And you don't want to do that. That's mean, right? It's like taking a candy from a child. So you want to help them see the need of their product, okay? But if it's human-centered, you will be doing good with your product and you'll make money as well. So that's an example of a very fast, quick and dirty pitch. The second thing is an online presence. Sometimes it's very good to create a blog about your idea. My daughter created a blog about a play that she wrote, and she got many followers all over the world. People are interested in your story. And if you present it successfully, people will sign up and follow your journey along, maybe contribute money to help you start up your business. It can attract all kinds of attention. The problem is, okay, this is in person, all right? That's online. In person is much more effective. Now, that's why I came here. We could tell you about Design for America with a video. It's not the same, it's just not the same. But you do need it. You can also get money using Facebook Kickstarter. I have a number of friends who've used Kickstarter to develop some money to start, and then you find a company that will match funds. So maybe if you raise $5,000, you have a company that will match $5,000. And then you have $10,000. That can go a long way when you're first starting. Okay, and then the third thing is branding and identity, and that's also what we're going to help you with today. You have to find a really good name for your idea. Short and sweet, and that resonates with people. And your identity is like a one-sentence description or even shorter about what your product does. So I'm going to give you some examples of a name, identity, and a one-line pitch. Okay, a lot of you here already know about Swipe Sense. This was developed by a team from Design for America, 5 students. They had no money. And 2 of them had been in a hospital and saw that, oh my God, there are so many infections in the hospital and the doctors are not washing their hands. And they did some research, which you should always do, and found out that only 40% of the doctors wash their hands. And they're like, oh, this is terrible. And there are over 100,000 deaths in the United States every year from infections in the hospital. People go in well, and they come out sick. So they went and did research, they watched the doctors, they, as you know from other lectures, they thought they would make shelves for the doctors to put their charts on. Bad idea. The nurses pushing the crash carts for somebody who was dead, actually literally dead, so they could resuscitate them. They had to negotiate around beds, chairs, and now shelves. No, terrible idea. Then they went to the beach, found out that people always, like when I go to the bathroom here, I always wipe my hands to dry on my skirt. So they created this, brought this sink to the doctors, and this will hang on, clip onto their belt, and whenever they put their hand in, they can get their hands cleaned. And they had to come up with a name. Their first name was horrible. Everybody laughed at it. They thought it was good. They called it My Wipe. Well, My Wipe sounds something like going to the bathroom. So when they went to the hospital, the doctors and nurses laughed, and they said, I'm not going to buy My Wipe. So then they had to, what we call, go back to the drawing board, right, to your computer, and think of a better name. And they thought of Swipe Sense, because you're swiping your hand into this, and it's Common Sense, which is the least common of the senses, right? And also it senses your hand and sprays disinfectant on it. So the name communicates more than one thing. They created a short line. It's Hand Hygiene 2.0. Okay? Then if someone wanted more information, they had a one-sentence pitch. Swipe Sense is an affordable, portable hand hygiene dispenser, making hospital-acquired infections a thing of the past. I would make it even shorter. It's a little long to think about. So maybe I would say Swipe Sense brings hand hygiene right to you when you need it, and it eliminates lowers hospital infections. You don't need all these words it's too wordy still. And that's what I want you to do today. Come up with shorter names for your product. Okay. Yes.
But I would have a little problem with that because according to Giselle, she said that statistically it has been proven that 40% of the doctors don't clean their hands, right? So the target audience of Swipe Sense should zoom in on doctors, physicians, instead of
oh, no, I'm sorry to bring that up. The audience, obviously, is doctors, nurses, and hospitals. They're trying out, I didn't bring that up yet. They're, when we get to audience, here, I was going to bring it up. The, obviously, 12 hospitals are conducting pilot tests now. So they brought it into 12 hospitals, and they're conducting tests to find out if it really lowers infection rates. Then, if it does, then they can get more money to put it in every hospital. But they're still in the testing stages, and as a matter of fact, Giselle's brother told her yesterday that one of the batteries doesn't work because they have to move over one of the sensors a tiny bit. So that's why you have testing, pilot testing with everything. Because you don't want to mass produce. Look at the car companies. It's terrible. My son worked for Roush Motors, which was a custom arm of Ford, and none of the engineers drove American cars. And the Ford company was really mad. They say, you guys have to drive our cars. We're paying you to do this. They said, no, it's not safe. They're all driving German and Japanese cars. Isn't that awful? So car companies are just, no one is and pharmaceutical companies, no one is paying attention to the piloting. They just rush it into mass manufacturing. People die. They have to recall cars. They have to recall drugs. My husband, who's a doctor, he says, I won't prescribe any drug that's not at least 2 years old. Who knows what's going to happen with it? And they still go out and sell them. They hide the bad information, bad tests, and they go out selling it. And then they have huge problems. They have lots of lawsuits. It's stupid. Huh?
Swine flu vaccine is horrible.
Yes, exactly. Exactly. So, in fact, Chrysler Corporation hired 4 design teams from Design for America because they said they're just not getting the job done right, and they need to think more about their audience and the buyers. Okay, so these are 3 names. Fruit Buddy is something else. Is anybody cold? A little bit? Okay. Yeah, there's probably a closed door. Yeah, a bunch of closed doors. Yeah. Fruit Buddy was created by the Design for America, another Design for America team, to help children buy fruits and vegetables in the grocery store. And then you know swipe sense already. Okay, does anyone know the origin of the word Coca-Cola? You know Coca-Cola, right? Yeah. Okay, where did the name come from? You know what, Harmony, we can just close the door. Harmony? We can just close the door. We can get it shut.
Yep.
I mean, is there wind coming in?
He said there's a draft.
Does it want to fix it?
See, we need a better window design. But I know, they told me this building is like 100 years old, right?
Yeah.
So we've made much progress in windows. But now to replace these windows, oh.
But actually, that's a Japanese copycat from, the origin is German.
Oh, this window?
That window, the windowsill and the window is set, and it's originally German and Japanese coded it.
Yeah, watch out because people copy you. I've had 2 plays of mine copied and produced by other people, 3 books, and when they're on the internet for some reason, everybody goes bananas. You know, and they say, oh, that idea is good. They don't ask permission. You know? Okay, does anyone know where Coca-Cola came from? The name?
Medicine.
Huh?
Medicine?
No? I just checked this on Snopes this morning, make sure I got the story right. I had heard the story in Latin America, but I want to make sure it's correct, and it is correct. In 1885 or so, the manufacturers created a new drink called Coca-Cola. And in it, they put a little bit of cocaine and a little extract from cola leaves. And they called it Coca-Cola. Coca leaves, no, cocaine, and then also the coca leaves. And, I'm sorry, it's cola leaves. Cocaine and cola leaves. And they didn't know at that time people were using cocaine in like health syrups that, you know, false scientists, false doctors were selling a lot in the street. And nobody knew that it could be a bad thing. So they had the name Coca-Cola, it started being successful, and after many number of years, information started coming out about cocaine, and the manufacturers were like, oh my God, what are we going to do, you know? And they said, well, we can't change the ingredients because that's where the name comes from. So they started reducing the amount of cocaine in Coca-Cola until they got it to a little tiny amount. And then by 1940 or 50, nobody remembered where the name Coca-Cola came from, so they eliminated all the cocaine. I think it's a very funny story because it was a great name at the time and now they're stuck with it. So be careful what you create, all right? And be careful of the name you give it.
But actually, it came back, right? Nowadays we call Coke.
Oh, absolutely.
Coke. I mean, no. Coke can be like Coke.
Cocaine. Yes, absolutely. It's unfortunately it came back, but it's not legal. And this is legal now. So I wanted you to think about the name for your product and just take 2 minutes. If you already have a name, see if you can improve on it. It should be short and catchy and communicate the idea of your product. And later on, we'll bring them all out and compare them. Only spend 2 minutes because often you will change your name. When I wrote my first book, I went to the publisher and I said, Judy, we're going to publish your book. And he said, oh, great. And I gave it a special name and he said, oh, don't worry about the name, we're going to change it. I said, what? You can't change the name of my story or my book. And I said, I'm the god of my story. You can't change it without my permission. I said, Judy, you're 27. Don't worry. You'll see a lot of things happening. And sure enough, they changed it like 3 times. Because just like the people from Swipe Sense, they took it to their audience and the doctors and nurses laughed at my wipe. You know, until you test your name, you don't find out how people are going to respond. Okay, so if you want, you can write, sometimes I write things in my first language, English, before I translate them into Spanish, because sometimes your first language is deeper in your mind, in your unconscious mind, and then you can translate it. But I'm going to give you 2 minutes to come up with a name for your product, and then keep it because we're going to use it a little later on. Okay, so, and remember, writer's block is horrible. You know, you're sitting and looking at your screen thinking, oh, what am I going to write? What am I going to write? Just try it. Come up with like 4 or 5 names. Just write them down very fast. Even if they're bad, whatever. Because we're not going to use them right now. Okay. Give it a try, guys. Well, do you have any idea that you would like to develop someday in your mind? Like saying, oh, I would love to make that, or I would love to. No, you don't have to have an object. I write plays, I create services, okay? Like Airbnb, where's that Wired magazine? And
It's a great thing.
Here.
Can I show it to the person? You don't just have to create products. Like this is a service that's become very popular. Airbnb. And now they've redesigned the service. They said that they weren't showing enough of what Airbnb is really about, so they completely redesigned it. It used to show houses, but it used to be of amazing apartments, and now there are people shopping, playing the guitar, because they want to make it more homey. So see, that's like a vision or an image that's changed. They didn't change the name, but they changed the image. But this is a service. It's not a product that you can see. But it's a wonderful service, like Uber. I don't know if you've heard of Uber with the cars that are cheaper than taxis, and there's so many great services. Okay, so just write down a few names for your brilliant idea. If you have one. If not, you're going to listen and find some examples here. Absolutely, please, if it's easier for you, write in Chinese because I write in English always and then translate it, usually. If you want, you can talk to a partner about your idea, if that helps. To stretch, do this with your head to get that blood flowing. Really, seriously. Makes a difference. Sometimes when I'm stuck, I can't think, I go for a run, or I do yoga, and I always bring like a little piece of paper with me and a pen, pencil, and then I write it down while I'm running. So aha! Sometimes when you push it, it doesn't work. Sometimes when you're sleeping, yes?
Well, actually, when it comes to naming,
yes.
We used to tell people that you have to dissect it into 2 layers because here we got lucky because Fruit Buddy, Swipe Sense, and Coca-Cola.
Right.
These days are brand name and corporate names identical with each other. So like Coca-Cola Inc.
Yes.
or Swipe Sense. I don't know how they're going to name their company, but it could be identical. So
Right.
basically, you have or like Design for America behind it. It could be either Stanford or or Northwest University, right? So
well, we're going to go into those layers in a minute. I just want you to think, what would you like to call it? Sometimes your first idea is the best, your intuition. There's a whole book about that called Blink. In the blink of an eye, you get your best idea. You know, but If you haven't had it yet, don't worry, because we're going to go more into depth to help you. Okay? So I see some people have been coming up with ideas. That's fantastic. Keep them because we're going to talk about them later on. Now, this came from Hollywood. Once you have a name for your product, because there are like over 7 million patents now for new products, you are competing with a lot of other things. Okay? And this actually came from Hollywood. You would get into, it's called an elevator pitch. Like, I'm a screenwriter, right? And I get into the elevator at a convention, and there's George Lucas. Oh my God, the producer of Star Wars. Oh my God. And I have like a huge opportunity to tell him about my idea. He's all alone, and he's tired of people telling him ideas. He's like, go away, go away. So I have to make him catch his attention very fast. So in the elevator from one floor to the next, you can say, I have an idea for a movie, Hunger Games. It's the movie Gladiator, but with teenagers. And right away, it permits him to form an image in his mind, right? And he's like, well, that might be interesting. If you talk about it for 15 minutes, he'll be sound asleep, for sure. So you want to find a good comparison. Here's another comparison. Starbucks is Mr. Brown coffee for Westerners. And actually, I'll tell you a little secret. I've been here for 3 weeks now. I could not find good instant coffee at Starbucks. It was very expensive. It was very bad. And finally, I went into Mr. Brown, and I found good instant Colombian coffee. It's like, oh, my coffee. So Starbucks, once you create a name, it doesn't mean that you're always going to, you have to make sure your product always lives up to your name. That's why the American auto industry is in such bad shape. Detroit is falling to pieces. Why? They have big names, and their product did not always match the quality that they had, okay? So you always have to have quality control of your product. You know, don't take it on the market like they're doing with SwipeSense until it's in perfect shape. You do not try to sell it. Because if you do, you know what? A bad product is worse than no product. You know? But everything can be developed. Okay, so now let's explain in one sentence. You're going to build your one-liner that you can tell a producer or somebody with money, the money people. Okay, so you have to explain, what do you do, who do you do it for, why are you doing it? Okay, so you have to ask who, what, why. Again, write it in Chinese if you want. For example, this is for SwipeSense. I'm sorry, ask what, who, why. Okay. It's, I'm sorry, my hammer remembered it. Hand hygiene. It can be right English. What? Who? For doctors? Why? To reduce hospital infections. So you can use the same thing for your one-liner. Answer with what, who, why. And I'll give you 5 minutes for that. Anybody need help, please raise your hand. You can come around. Talk to a partner if you want. It's easier. You know, don't reinvent the wheel. Don't struggle alone. You can choose a partner to talk to. That's what Design for America does. Don't be shy. Anybody have a question about this part?
So you have to come up and make a pitch.
Well, you're going to do it toward the end, okay? You're going to have a name, your one-liner, and your handle, your branding by the end of this workshop. So we're building on this, okay? So this is the best moment for you. You're in a safe place, okay? No one's gonna laugh at you. No, we are here to help you. Once you take it out to a convention or the market, that's a hard world out there. So this is a safe place for you to do this. Huh? Okay. Okay, you'll pitch into the black hole. Sometimes it feels like a black hole, you know, it's just so hard. It's very hard. Please raise your hand if you'd like Harmony or me to help you. And write in Chinese if you want.
Sure.
Okay, I'm going to stop talking and give you a few minutes. Don't be scared of failing. Remember our other workshop? Fail early, fail often. I know some people brought PowerPoints of their product, and when you're showing them, you have to do this, okay? One line, one name and one line. If anybody wants to show them to me, I'm going to look at them. We're going to have 30 minutes later on to work on the full pitch. But if anybody wants me to look at them now, I can. Yeah, I see. Okay, so this is your online service, right? Oh, you're not, it's not. It's a workshop. So you're selling a class. And you were the one who thought we had nothing. We're thinking of things. This is a product. It's just not a kind of thing. Okay. But and I think why? Okay. I think you have to who needs a service? As you say what it is, and then is it for artists or young people or everybody? You know,
For example, if you play live,
more
you
specific about the audience.
show the live
And then
system.
why?
Yeah.
Don't you see it usually?
So you can say, and Moon Workshop is
Is it for the
creates
customer to see
design,
it or
offers design,
person who has the
courses,
The person who owns the
travel for
I mean, if you
for
play
people of
live,
all ages,
the
or students or
physical,
artists.
physical outfit
The artists.
show some action.
Okay, well,
That's
just
what
think about it. You have to say something.
Oh, that's cute.
So you can say for
For
everybody,
example, one
for
show
designers.
the live.
Okay, then you say for designers or artists, because those people are really interested in this, right? And then why? Because I want to share my love of design, handmade products, and travel. And I acknowledge to share. Yeah. Teaching any book. So, okay, so because I love design, handmade or any what kind of crafts? Handicrafts? Yeah. Okay, put handicrafts, because I love design, handicrafts, and travel. So you could say I'm offering workshops to teach design and handicrafts and create products and travel for artists, because I want to share my love of these things. Well, I think artists will be more interested, don't you think? Well, maybe not, maybe beginner. Okay, for anyone interested in the arts, how's that? Yeah. Okay. Okay, anybody else? See, he has a great book. I love books like these. Do you mind holding it up and showing them? Because it gives you, you can keep all your ideas in one book and just scribble. And it gives you incredible freedom when you're on the, sometimes you get your best ideas in the MRT, right? You're sitting there like, oh my God, I have this great idea, and where's my paper, where's my pen? And you don't have it, and then when you get home, you forgot half of it. Versus class. So always have your sketchbook with you. So you can, and that gives you freedom to write and draw. That's very good.
那后面刚才有，刚才有。
Oh, okay, great. Let me see. Housewives? Yes. Yeah, yeah. Yes. Oh, that's cool. I like that. And you can scan the quality. You know, maybe you can even create a scanner for to detect food safety. Like if they put industrial oil in. Yeah. How sweet it is, honey sugar. That's a wonderful idea. So the scanner, okay, I have to tell you one thing. So when you're reading it, it sounds like the scanner is looking for a wife. You know, you're not looking for a wife. Okay, so the scanner for housewives to help them find the best fruit. Okay. Be careful what order your words. How is your step? Are you showing that?
Yeah.
Cool. I love that.
Did he tell you what it was?
Yeah, I saw it. I saw it at his place, right? Through the Facebook. How many likes on Facebook? Anything?
Yeah, I want to find a name for it.
You have to.
Facebook love.
It should be more sexy and exciting. Always think exciting because there's so many products out there. You want to have something that really calls attention. And don't worry about it right now because you're going to change it anyway. Look at my wipe. I mean, oh my God, what a disaster. So don't worry about that. Anybody else want to show me their, we have more time later on too.
This
Okay.
is Judy.
All right. It's a little black hole. Thank you.
Now, this is going to be my pitch at Kickstarter to raise money.
Oh.
Because, well, these are legitimate claims. Because you can sit and just
Right?
even though they end up in the church meeting.
Of course.
Send them.
I did send them. Thank you for believing in me.
No, I mean, really.
Yeah. That's true. They would love to create aliens in the
So, I mean, there's not claims which can be
verified. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Yeah.
Love Facebook.
You don't have to
Facebook lovers.
Okay, thank you. You'll be my photographer. I think you'd be very good. Oh yeah, Sandra Bullock and George Clooney would be perfect.
We are the heroes for it.
Oh yeah, I love Gravity. Yeah, I love Gravity.
So, I mean, because you call this sci-fi.
Yeah,
Gravity is
it is. Yeah, they make a lot of money too. You would get 10%. Okay, if you can, this will be great for the longer pitch that we do, and gradually, if you can think of putting it into one sentence, but I think this is great. Into the Black Hole is a sci-fi worthy the sequel to Gravity. That's the handle, right? Very short, and then this can be developed. You're going to have a 3-minute pitch later on. So this is your one line. Thank you. Oh my gosh, I found an agent. Whoa. Okay. All right, we're going to stop here. Do you want to stop, or you want a little more time? How many want to just go on? Okay. I'm going to show you some more ideas to help you. Okay. And because we're not doing this right now, I read a few one-liners. They're terrific. And a young lady here was worried because she didn't have a product, and already she came up with a wonderful service. It doesn't have to be something that you can hold in your hands, like these wonderful things that Sky makes. He's just trying to think of a name right now. Okay, so this is to help you also. This is Design for America created these 4 wonderful steps. I wish I'd known about them 30 years ago because I learned everything by bad experiences, and it's no fun. It's no fun. Okay, so we're going to go through them one by one. This will help you narrow your focus. Know your audience. Pitching your, for example, pitching this to a group of high school students or college students is very different from pitching it to a manufacturing company. They're going to have very different questions. So Sky has to come up with very different information about this. Like, students will just be excited and say it's awesome and want to work on it and get it out there. Manufacturers are going to have questions about how many people will buy it. They're going to have a whole different set of questions, right? How much does it cost to make it? I remember when I first worked in book publishing, I sat in on financial meetings where we had to write down everything that a book was going to cost. Publicity, paper, ink, author royalties, printer's copies, covers, everything, okay? So that's really what they're going to ask you. I think even if you have a perfect pitch for your audience, you're not going to always please everybody. We have a saying in English, try to please everyone and you'll end up pleasing no one. Because you make so many modifications to your beautiful original product that it looks like a mess in the end, okay? So stay true to your idea. Sometimes your pitch is not going to work. I read about a pitch of a Hollywood movie yesterday that is not working. It's called Unbroken, and it hasn't even come out yet. Angelina Jolie directed it. It's about part of it is about World War II and a man in Japanese prisoner of war camps. They cannot sell that movie in Japan. And boy, China loves it. China loves the idea because they suffered the cruelty of the Japanese, right? And then one of the main actors in the movie is Japanese. He is the cruel leader of the prisoner of war camp. Well, he told the Japanese, this is a great movie. It's not only about World War II. It's only a third of it is about the Japanese prisoner of war camp. But they don't want any of it. So you may have a terrific product if you can't sell it to every audience, okay? You just have to accept that. Sometimes you just have to give up and move on. Okay, the next thing is tell a story. For example, the makers of Swipe Sense learned to tell a story. Like I just told you, why did we get interested? What happened while we were making it? The aha moment on the beach when they were in despair. Okay, so you have to tell a story about your product that is going to grab attention. People don't want to hear numbers. Don't use numbers. That's for the marketing later on, the marketing department, the production department. Right now you want to get people enthused. You want to sell your idea, okay? Then you have to share a vision. For example, the makers of Swipe Sense said, okay, I have a vision that we're going to reduce these 100,000 accidental deaths every year due to hospital infections. That's a big vision, right? Anything that you come up with, what's your first name? Okay, she has a vision for a workshop where she can share her love for travel, making handicrafts, and what was the other thing? The design process, and she has a real vision for that. It's something she loves and knows, and she wants to share it. By the way, to get a vision, please choose something you love to do, because otherwise you're going to get so sick of it. Some projects take like 20 years, and you'll be like, no, I don't want to do one more revision. I'm sure the makers of Swipe Sense are getting tired, because now the hospital said, well, the batteries aren't working quite right, so they have to move one of the sensors over a little bit. It's like, when is this going to be finished? It's never finished. That's why do what you love, because otherwise you're going to hate it. Okay? And finally, make a call to action. This is when you want to get people invested in your idea. Like, I forgot your first name again? William, he really got my attention with the one-liner he created about Into the Black Hole, because it's my book, and it could go to Hollywood, and I was like immediately interested. You want to grab people's attention. So with Design for America type human-centered product, it's very easy because you can go into the communities where people are suffering. In the US, I've been very successful with a play about immigrants and refugees. There are so many problems in our country. There's a lot of racism. You probably heard about those 2 black men who were killed during the last week by police. The population in a chokehold, and in Ferguson, and the community is furious. They're taking over New York City. There's demonstrations in Chicago.
In London.
And London too. In London?
Yeah.
Well, it's horrible, and that is just below the surface of many Americans, you know, and they're all children of immigrants. My great-grandparents were Irish, German, and Russian Jewish. The only real Americans are the Native Americans. All the rest of us came over as immigrants. So I make a call to action in the neighborhoods. I say, let's put on this musical that I created. You're going to understand immigrants better. It tells you where they came from. It shows their culture with their dances and costumes. People love it. I have 16 shows lined up for next October. And I have a director and a sponsor. And that's not easy in theater. Okay, so whatever your product is, get people involved. Okay? Like another gentleman over here, well, he'll tell you later on, but he had the idea for something to help housewives when they're shopping. And I said, terrific. I've been shopping. I don't know how to do what a scanner's doing. So I think that's a great idea. Okay, so here, if you want, you can take a picture of the screen because this is going to help you a lot in the future. If not, if you want to write it down, you can write it down. Very important in pitching, 3 steps. What is the problem you're trying to solve? Swipe Sense illustrates this very clearly. The problem is hospital infections kill 100,000 people a year. Why is it a big problem? Unnecessary deaths of 100,000 a year. Who suffers the most from this problem? Well, that's simple. The people who died, right? And their families. Totally unnecessary.
The hospitals, actually, because they get sued.
Oh, they get sued. They're getting sued. So they're very interested also in tackling this problem. My father got the SARS infection when he went to the hospital 4 years ago, and he had to be in isolation for 3 weeks. It was very nasty, very nasty. So they went into the hospital. What insights do you have? Well, doctors don't have time to wash their hands. That's a problem. So we can't bring the doctors to the sink over there, so we have to bring the sink to the doctors, right? We have to bring them the soap. Okay, so then you're going to create. What is your solution? Shelves? They tried shelves. Bad idea. Very bad idea. Always talk to the nurses, not the doctors. The nurses know everything. How does your solution fit? Fit is like with the insights. You said, aha, that's the real problem. Your aha moment is an insight. Okay, how does that fit? First solution, no. Second idea, Swipe Sense, yes, they like that idea. Okay, so they started building on it. Response has been good. Okay, you continue with it. How does your solution improve the lives of those in your community? Reduce infections at your hospitals. There aren't so many lawsuits, and being very realistic about it, doctors don't want to be sued. My husband was once sued because a patient fell out of bed. He wasn't even there. And she sued everybody in the hospital. They threw it out, but it's horrible. Now, OB-GYNs and neurosurgeons have to pay $250,000 a year in malpractice insurance only. So a lot of them have quit. If you can't find a neurosurgeon in the lower half of Illinois, there isn't one. Because it's horrible to get sued. It's a horrible experience. I have a pediatrician friend. She was sued by her nurse because the nurse got addicted to Vicodin, which is a very strong painkiller. And my pediatrician friend had to leave her cabinet open for the nurse. Well, the nurse started taking it when the doctor wasn't looking. And then she sued the doctor for getting her addicted, and she won. My doctor friend had to pay a lot of money for that lawsuit. So unfair. You know, it's,
They never learn actually, because something like that goes back to, say, for instance, McDonald's. All these big
Bad companies.
people,
Yes.
they sue McDonald's because they were given junk food, so to speak. But they are the ones who go to McDonald's and eat those.
You know what? There was one lawsuit against McDonald's that was successful. $10 million for coffee that was too hot. Remember?
Right.
This woman's she's stupid. She's carrying out her car, she's driving, she spills hot coffee on her. You don't drink and drive anything. And she sued them and got it, $10 million. It's a crazy culture in our country now. The insurance companies prefer to pay up front and not go into the court, because court can take years. And the lawyers are very expensive. Tax lawyers are $750 an hour. And you can't do anything without them because there's so many laws. So, by the way, to avoid lawsuits, do your homework. Make sure that what you're doing hasn't been done before. J.K. Rowling sued a writer and won because he was doing something about Harry Potter, and she sued him and won. And you never know. So do your homework, okay? I don't want to hear from Harmony that you got sued. But, if you're improving on a product, you're not going to get sued. Okay? If you're making a better mousetrap, a better car, a better design, a better use of Facebook related items, he's not going to get sued for this. Nobody ever did it. I never saw it. But make sure, okay? Check it out on Google. Okay, so your solution improves the lives of those in your community, safer conditions in the hospital. My husband never wants me to go to the hospital. He says, don't go, you're going to get an infection. But I need to go for something. And he's like, no, don't go, don't go. And he's a doctor, he doesn't want me to go to the hospital. That's very scary. Implement. Okay, now you're taking your product to the customer. Right. Who is your customer? Very important to think about that. All right? Sometimes your ideas are ahead of their time. That has happened to me. In 1982, a Brazilian composer, a reporter from CNN, and I created a beautiful prototype video to teach English as a second language. We took it into the international president of my publishing company. I've been an author for 12 years. I thought, okay, this has got to be. Nobody ever did it before. And I said, you can lead the market. You can cover the market. You can patent this. We went in beautiful prototype. We were all very nicely dressed. We presented the prototype, which was wonderful. And we asked him, what do you think? And he said, nobody's doing this. He said, it's very expensive. It won't sell. And I was like, Peter, you can have the whole market in this, And he's like, nope, too expensive. So I did a bad thing. I went home and I gave up. I said, okay, Peter, he's the head of international marketing for his biggest book publisher. He must know. He didn't know. 15 years later, everybody's making videos. Everybody. They send actors and directors down to Latin America to film them on location.